when something has happened in our lives that causes us to begin to develop negative feelings and we're bitter, one of the things we have to do is, as I said last time, we have to just accept that God has allowed whatever it is into our lives for reasons unknown to us at the time. When we get to heaven, it'll be clearer. But we just accept it by faith. We don't fight against it. You see, when you're bitter towards a circumstance or about a circumstance, you're really you're going against the grain and you're fighting it. Whereas if you can just get in the river, in the flow of God's river, and say, God, you're sovereign, you're in control. This is not something I would have asked for. It's not something I would have wanted. It's something that has happened. And so, God, I just want to get in this river and I want to ride this thing out with you. And so I accept it. Now, today I want to take it one step farther and say, not only do we need to accept what has happened, but we need to embrace it and say, God, you have allowed this situation into my life, and I want to embrace it. I can remember one time in my life I'd gone through a thing that I was trying to process and figure out, and I could see after some time had gone by, and I'm saying, when I say some time, I mean a significant amount of time had gone by, maybe 2 or 3 years or so had gone by. And I was just kind of one day thinking about that, and I was walking across our church parking lot. And while I was doing that, I was in a spirit of prayer, and I said to the Lord, I said, God, I just ask you to milk this cow dry. And by that what I meant was, God, just everything that you want me to learn from this experience, every area in my life where I need to grow, God, that's what I want to happen. And so, Lord, I'm just asking you to milk this cow dry. And I just, my heart that day was, God, I don't think I was thinking of the word embrace it. I think I was thinking milk this cow dry. But what I was saying is, God, I want to embrace this situation. I want to grow from this. And there are 2 verses that I have claimed many times in my life when I've gone through something that was difficult. The first one is Romans 8:28. And most of us are familiar with that. And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. All things work together for good. And I can remember times in my life where I have said, God, take this situation, turn it around, and bring something good out of it. And then the second verse is in Genesis chapter 50 and verse 20, where Joseph said to his brothers, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. They had treated Joseph badly, but he wasn't worried about it. He had embraced the situation, trusted God with it. He had accepted what he had been through as part of God's plan for his life. And he finally just said to his brothers, you meant it for evil, God meant it for good. Let me tell you something, friend. Whatever circumstance has happened in your life today that has been hard and painful and difficult, and may be that way right now, you can go to the bank with this. God meant it for good. If God didn't have something good planned from that and through that, he never would have allowed you to go through it. And so I encourage you today to get in the flow of God's river and ride this thing out. Accept what God has allowed and embrace it with all of your heart, and let it be an opportunity for you to grow and to become more like Jesus than you've ever been in all your life. And so hopefully these last 2 devotionals have helped a little bit as we think about those circumstances and those situations in life that have caused us to become negative and cynical and maybe sarcastic and for sure bitter. If we will accept it and if we will embrace it and grow from it, it's going to be a great thing, what will happen in our lives. Now, when we do our next few devotions, I want to talk about what we should do when a person has caused us to be bitter. Something they've done, something they've said. That may, in a different way, even be harder than a circumstance. They can both be hard, but we'll pick up there next week. But just until we get to the next one, remember that analogy of the river. The river of God is everything he allows into our lives, and we want to just ride that river out with him and grow from the difficult times that we go through. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye.